We've been hearing a lot about Tesla's full self-driving technology recently, how good it's getting, how safe it is, the upcoming rollout of a robo-taxi fleet, which of course harnesses this FSD technology, and we're just hearing about all the iterations it's undergoing. But we've also had some very interesting news about FSD in China. So let's just rewind quickly. In late April, Elon flew to China and met with a Chinese politician, and it was said that the main focus of this conversation was FSD. Then following this visit in early May, Tesla signed a deal with Baidu, giving them access to Baidu's mapping and data services, which is of course one of the really significant regulatory milestones for Tesla to overcome in China. Now we've had the information, just came out a few days ago, saying that Tesla has now been given approval to test their most advanced autonomous driving technology on selected streets in Shanghai. Initial testing will apparently involve about 10 vehicles, like I said, in selected streets within Shanghai, but there's already talks of expansion of this testing into other cities, one of them being Hangzhou. I don't really know if I've pronounced that right. So now let's talk about why this is actually really good news and what this could mean for Tesla in the future and us Tesla shareholders. So firstly, this is showing anticipated market expansion. Getting approval to test FSD in China shows that Tesla and probably the Chinese government are expecting to roll out Tesla's FSD in this market in the upcoming few months, few years, who knows the timeline. And this is a big, big market. I think people underappreciate this. In fact, China is the biggest EV market in the world. And it's very clear that China are very open-minded, and actually they really want to be one of the first, if not the first place to actually have autonomous vehicles. They are trying to stay ahead of the game. And as part of this, they have been actively fostering the development and integration of this technology. And also, I believe their government is in full support of this, which, this whole argument of how supportive the US government is towards Tesla versus other governments around the world that are showing them perhaps more support. And alongside the market expansion, this also means a big new revenue stream for Tesla. And in fact, Bank of America are saying that if Tesla receives approval for its FSD system in China, it could contribute $2.3 billion to Tesla's annual earnings by 2030. And as also noted by Bank of America, if Tesla releases FSD as a $99 service in China, and if a quarter of the estimated 1.6 million Tesla drivers in the country subscribe to the FSD technology, it could provide Tesla with $500 million in annual revenue. The point is, once this SaaS revenue stream, SaaS standing for software as a service, which has much, much higher margins, gets out to the rest of the world, the numbers start getting very, very interesting. And like I just said, really, China is a very, very important market. It's the biggest EV market in the world, but not only that, but it's also Tesla's second largest market. But we do have one issue, one potential hurdle to consider, like with everything. And that is that each road sets around the world are different. The roads in Europe are very, very different to the roads in the US. The roads in China are very, very different to both of them. So to train FSD to work in China, you need data from China to train the neural networks. You need local data. And that's a tough issue because there's likely to be some restrictions of the data sharing from the Chinese government. And this testing and potential rollout of FSD in China also helps provide credibility for the technology. If it's only being tested and rolled out in the US market, people might not really understand how one day there could be a robo-taxi fleet. And then they might not really understand how that could add a lot to Tesla's valuation. But now we are seeing proof and the numbers are becoming more and more real as we see that this could be a global thing. And I think the fact that China are actually interested and want Tesla's FSD technology in their country tells us that Tesla actually has the competitive advantage and is ahead towards the race for autonomous vehicles. Then we have to ask ourselves, will Tesla potentially actually release a robo-taxi fleet within China before they do in the US? People are a little bit divided as to whether the US will come first or the Chinese market will come first. Let me know what you think in the comments below. In other Tesla news, I recently saw this X post, which has triggered me down a rabbit hole of wondering what on earth is happening. So I saw here that Elon responded to somebody saying the new Tesla Roadster can fly. And then I posted saying, guys, can someone help my small brain here? Do we think this just means that Roadster is really fast, or are we actually thinking Back to the Future type craziness? So the original Tesla Roadster was launched in 2008 and it was Tesla's first production car, and it was actually in the Tesla Master Plan 1. But now we are expecting a second generation of this vehicle to be shown later this year and maybe going into production next year. It has been spoken about for a while actually, and it seems to get pushed back. It doesn't really have seemed to have been a priority, maybe up until this point. Maybe we should expect to hear about it on the 8th of the 8th. Who knows? That may be one of the vehicles that they're going to unveil. Some people think it is. Some people think that actually it won't be a Roadster and it will instead be a van that can carry between 8 and 10 people. Now, I'm not really into sports cars myself, so all the specs sometimes go a little bit over my head, but I do know that it's meant to be in collaboration with SpaceX. And it's meant to be able to go from 0 miles per hour to 60 miles per hour in under 1 second, which will make it one of the fastest production cars ever made. So the fact that the Roadster is a collaboration between Tesla and SpaceX kind of hints to us that there will be some rocket-like features in there, maybe some rocket thrusters. So with regard to what Elon is saying about how the new Roadster will be able to fly, we already know from what he said that he doesn't really see this as a quote-unquote car in the traditional sense. But does he mean that, number one, this will be a literal flying car? That would be crazy. I don't think that's the case. Number two, it has hovering capabilities. This is what a lot of people responded to me on X and actually thought it was going to be, meaning that momentarily it will lift from the ground. So technically it will fly due to the SpaceX thrusters that could be on it, but it won't be flying for very long. It will just momentarily hover perhaps. Or the third outcome that I'm thinking is that it's just going to have super, super fast acceleration. And that's what he means when he says it will fly. It will just go really, really fast, but it will be on the ground. So do let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. If you want to watch these episodes ad-free, get exclusive and extended content and a bunch of other perks, become an insider of the Inner Circle Vault. Link in the description.